Well, I guess we're live. I'm better with a paintbrush than I am with the camera, and I'm pretty good with a cat. I'm Charlie. I'm the guy who made Keyboard Cat so many years ago. I haven't changed a bit though, so that's cool. I'm going to give you a quick tour of we're going to do a painting today of Keyboard Cat. Because really, before I was a cat guy, I was an art guy. I went to art school in Japan and all that jazz. And so I'm going to just show you around my studio real quick here to give you a context for this thing. And then we're going to paint and have some fun, man. There's a pair of Keyboard Cat shoes. Oops, there's one anyway, that we use for rehearsal and a fake cat leg. I actually wore these shoes when I was about 2. And they still have crumbs on the bottom of them from my mom's kitchen, which is pretty cool. Here's just a bunch of paintings stacked up. There's my little house that I put on top of my head, and it's called a head suite. And here's just all kinds of stuff, musical devices, fish, memorable schemes. Here's a set of drums, and here's another set of drums, even much smaller. And you can see from what we got here that this is that these are Keyboard Cat drums, and you can see how they look a little bit there. They're tiny. I love tiny drums. I would rather pretend I'm a drummer than be one, because when I try to really be one, it isn't too good. Here are a couple of new paintings. The Space Needle. Everybody knows that. I don't live too far from Seattle, and I love these landmarks. I never used to, but somehow I do now. And there's a painting I did of my own head. And there's a painting that my friend did of me in Japan in 1971. Her name is Sue, and she's still a killer painter and quite a gardener. Here is some of what we're going to use to paint. There's paints and brushes and spray paint and all kinds of crap. And here are some Keyboard Cat shirts. This is hard for me to tell what the hell I'm shooting. These are Keyboard Cat shirts from different gigs. Probably the middle one is the one I use the most. And there's a big old Keyboard Cat painting. There's my sunglasses tree. And here's a look out the window at the garden. This is not quite country living, but almost. And so now I'm gonna set this tripod up and start doing some painting. And this should be pretty fun. Let's see. I think this thing has to be vertical. So we're gonna back up some to maybe about there. And so if I'm in here yakking and painting, that could be cool. That's about right. Yeah, sure. Okay, so here we go. The first thing is I did a light pencil drawing. You can barely see it on there of, this shot of Mr. Keyboard Cat. Mrs. in this case, Fatso, as it were. This is Keyboard Cat number 1. And, people are asking me, is Skinny here? Yes. She's downstairs somewhere. She might come up. Kitty. So that's the image we're going to work from. And my process is different every time because I get bored fast. I don't want to do the same technique on every painting. That would just be like having a job. Routine is the enemy, and we all know that. The other thing is, wait a minute here. Oh yeah, I can tip this down. This is cool. The other thing is, I can't remember, but there was another thing. See, there's the painting. The pencil drawing It's just a light pencil sort of sketch. It can be loose. Oh yeah, I was talking about doing this, not doing the same thing over and over and over. That my attention span's pretty short. I started biting my fingernails as soon as I got teeth. I've been uptight a little bit, but I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. So back to not doing it the same every time. My attention span's short, so I don't want to be the same painter with every painting. And I sometimes get tired of this technique I'm using in the middle of a painting. So you just change style and do, it's like being halfway to a restaurant and changing your mind. You want to go to KFC instead. It's not good for the chickens, but extra crispy is not that bad. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, because I want to be doing some smearing some paint and some spray painting on here, I'm going to darken up these cat lines with just a felt tip pen. And this is a crank, and it's running a little dry, which gives it some character. Nobody else has a pen quite like this. Nobody else wants a pen quite like this. And there we go. And then down here, it's, the bottom of the old keyboard. And I'll probably zoom in a time or two. I can't stand the thing being locked off exactly the same all the dang time. Anyway, there's that. And I'm not going to do much else except maybe the eyes. This cat's name was Fatso, by the way. And Fatso was very expressive, cool, a hell of a piano player, I can tell you that. There's been no one like her. There's even been people who tried to imitate how Fatso can play, and you can see those on YouTube, and some of them are not that great, I would say. All right, now, this is my favorite part. I love spray paint. And if they said to save the environment, we had to do away with one of these three things, what would it be in your life? And one would be coffee, spray paint, or YouTube. And I could not give up spray paint. I don't know what the hell else would happen, but coffee's a tough one to give up. I really like my coffee. So here we go. It's fluorescent. There's nothing like it, and you're gonna dig this. So I'm going over the outline, just half right on it. So half of the paint is inside the line and half is outside. Now this isn't the way I'm going to be painting tomorrow, but this is the way I'm painting today. So make a note of it, and that'll be about all I can say. I'm going to be back off and just put a little bit wider. Yeah. Okay, so now, of course, I want to put some other paint on there, and right now, it's kind of crazy because this paint is still wet here, but because I'm impatient and I'm still a nail biter, I don't know if you can see that. That's one of my worst nails, is my left thumbnail. So if it ever comes down to you gotta know something about that, you will. You won't be totally without your bearings. So now I'm gonna, because in here, most of his paws and head and chest, they're not really yellow, but for us today, they're gonna be yellow, just because. And I got this sponge, which is really a club, and I'm gonna soak it in a little water. I wonder it'd be better if I had a cameraman. Well, I don't, so maybe I should have a camera woman. So they make paint now that comes in a tube that is just as bright as this spray paint that's really fluorescent. I mean, really, really bright. It's for marking safety things where people could get killed. And now they make paint for artists that's in tubes that's just as bright. I think it just came out, and it has changed my life. So we're gonna prove that by trying to change your life And what I'm doing is I'm soaking this sponge in a little dirty water, and then I'm getting some of that fluorescent yellow, just the yellow for now. And I'm gonna test it on the wall a little bit. Oh yeah. And now I'm gonna do the cat. And you can see through this yellow. I'm not so sure I like that. But yeah, I think I do. Fortunately, that paint, that pink that I sprayed on there is still wet. And being oil-based paint or lacquer, it is totally different chemically and physically than the acrylic paint I'm smearing on here. So they react with each other in a way that you can't imitate, and in fact most people would not even want. In many circles this would be considered an accident, okay? And that's important to me. We'll get his paw down here a little bit. So yeah, I'm definitely liking that. And you gotta just see, well, yeah, I guess you can see there up close kind of what's happening to that painting. Let's see, there we go, we'll go down just a little bit. Heck yes. Okay, so now I'm gonna put a little more of that yellow, but I'm not gonna be getting into any pink, just a little of that yellow. Other places where there's cat flesh, or in this case, cat fur, and it will just kind of be a background. Okay, where's his paw there? Oh, it's up here. Oh boy. There's his paw. And we'll just call that good. And his chest comes down into this zone. For her, I should say, out of respect for Fatso. And yeah, I can say I'm liking that. Yes, I need to, yes. Okay, then I'm gonna put a little bit of, on that same sponge, which is getting pretty ripe now, I'm gonna put a little bit of the fluorescent orange. And then looking at the picture of Fatso, sorry there's no music, we can't have music in this because if I played some famous music in there, we'd get nixed for stealing somebody's music, so. I could sing, and I can, maybe a little bit later. Okay, so there's, you know, what we're working with. And you see how the painting kind of looks like the cat. I would say the cat has more orange in its paw, on its leg here, and then forehead and around the sides of the cheeks. So I'm gonna do that. And maybe I'll just squirt a little bit of this fluorescent paint there and just get it with my brush. So we were saying on the legs, need more of that, on the legs, around the face, in the forehead, and out here, a little bit in here. See, we're not trying to be, is it Richard Estes, who's a great photorealist painter? We're leaving that up to him. If I wanted something to be perfectly like something in looks, I would just get my camera and take a picture of it. That's what I did with my darn cat. We got a little orange in here, a little back here, and some here. Yeah, I guess we already knew that. A lot of this is going to get blue because wherever his shirt is blue, it's going to get bluey-eyed. And for that, I actually have some spray paint that matches my favorite shade of blue, which was Fatso's shirt in the first place. I loved that color even when I was a kid. I had a cat when I was a kid that was an orange tabby. And when I was really little, my mom was a great seamstress and she kind of taught me how to sew. And so I sewed him a little cape and his name was Figaro. And I wrote F-I-G on the cape because I couldn't fit the whole word on it. It's hard to write with a sewing machine when you're in second grade. And it had little straps, so I would tie it on him and look at him. Unfortunately, I don't have any pictures of that, but I'm 99% sure that somewhere in all my junk, I have that cape. I'm 99% sure I saw it once about 30 years ago, maybe, out in the garage. And so it's got to still be there because would I throw that away? I don't think so. So we're going to try a little blue where the shirt is, just for the hell of it. Just to establish that there is going to be blue there, but we'll come in with a brush and we'll get far out and nasty with it. I can sling a pretty mean brush. Went to school for that. I went to art school in Japan, in Tokyo, at a school called Nichidai, which the enrollment of the whole school, which was over several campuses, was as big as my hometown, like 200,000, so a lot of kids. But I sort of stuck out because, I don't know, I just don't look very Japanese. And I guess I don't even act it, I don't know. But see, that's coming along, check it out. Huh, before, huh, after. Those blues aren't really right, but they're, you know, we compromise. This is all about compromising. If I quit every time I kind of made a mistake, I wouldn't even get out of bed. Okay, so now I think I'm going to go in with some regular yellow, not fluorescent, but some regular yellow, and lighten it with some white. So while I'm doing that, you could just try and, there's my white, where's my yellow? You can busy yourselves with maintaining your fingernails or eating something, or if something was itching really bad, scratch it. Nobody's gonna see you. Okay, so there's the white, there's that. It's hard to go to a brush after using a sponge because sponge is so fast and so easy and so fun that you can't even believe it. So I'm gonna wet this really bad frayed out brush. I'm gonna get a big wad of white, plop it on my palette next to the yellow, and then mix them together, and then go in and try and kind of, you know, add something to it. I guess a lot of what we're adding here is going to be texture, because the way this looks more like fur than all that spraying and marker does, I like it. I really like it. So out here where there's, because Fatso had some hair. Fatso wasn't what you'd call a short hair cat. And I'm not a short hair cat either. Almost cut my hair. Happened just the other day. You know, I'm a child of the 60s. I mean, I was in college and high school in the 60s, and we were protesting in Vietnam and getting mad at the president. Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and Young, and long hair, and just getting it on. Jimi Hendrix, can't remember who all, but those were some really good times. And so I was raised on protest, you know, and now there's so many protests that, and they're split up so much nobody can win because there's only about 50 people in each school. Back then we were almost all of us were amalgamated against the establishment, and I still feel that way. I mean, why wouldn't I? I'm gonna just switch to kind of just pure white. I think we need a little contrast here. There we go. Oh yes. Oh yeah. I use gesso instead of white paint. Well, there's some white I squirted. We'll use that. White paint just costs so much compared to gesso, and gesso looks good. And if anybody's watching, they'll think you're a bohemian for doing that. But I like it. I find that when I improvise, my work stands out more and doesn't even look like I did it, which is, I say I'm the art, when I have an art show, I frequently say, every piece looks like somebody else did it. And I'm not ashamed of that. The art world does not go for that though, because they want you to have a style, because once they make up the brochures and stuff, if you change your style, they're just out a bunch of money, and so that does not fly. So I've not been really successful in some ways because I keep changing my mind. And in some ways that helps you in life, and in some ways it doesn't. It's just trying to figure out which is which. So I'm gonna put some white, we're still framed up, yeah. Put some white on these keys, being they're really white, and I don't know. I'm okay with it, with using the color that something really is. I frequently don't want to do that. There we go. Is that, yeah, that's white. It could go the other way, because I used to have a keyboard that was, I think it was a Vox Jaguar, that the white keys were black and the black keys were white. And it was cool. Should have kept it. Should have damn well kept it, but no. There, that's looking good. And we're eating up some time. I was worried I might do this too fast, because sometimes I do things like in 45 seconds, because I did like the abstract expressionist art school that said, you do a painting in one session, you don't do some and then come back later. It's like a dinner or sex or something. It's not a hobby. You don't come back later and finish your dinner or have it the rest of it in the morning. You could. Anyway. So now I've learned more to slow it down. And, this is white paw here. This is all white. And I've learned to slow down a little bit. I even will do a painting where I do some of it, and then I'll come back and do some of it the next day, which is really something for me. That's not how I was raised. I was raised more on Jackson Pollock and other such luminaries, we call them now. What the hell? Oh, I see. I lose track of even where things are. And that is okay too. There, that's looking kind of good. And then we can flesh this thing out a little bit with some highlights, as they say in the academic world. There, yep. Oh, yes. Working out. I like it even from up close, but I know I'm going to like it from further back. I think I just discovered a new style. I better hurry up and use it before I get tired of it. And before you guys get tired of it. But I see here, there's a lot of people writing in while I'm doing this. I've never done this before. I did one that was about 3 minutes, and most of it was me trying to get the camera on the tripod, which makes a pretty good video. I'd rather watch someone who doesn't know what they're doing, who are trying. I don't know. Anyway, we got a lot of white, and I'm glad because I don't want to run out of anything. I can't pause this. This isn't a thing where you can pause when you're live streaming on the YouTube. You're live, Dad. And that's all there is to it. See? Ready? You can fix things real quick with the paintbrush. You just paint over them. That's why I like painting. I mean, as opposed to like architecture, it just takes so long to build the bridge that, you know, by then I don't know if I will even like the bridge. And that's, I'm not bragging about that. It isn't necessarily a good thing. Some places it isn't good when you get tired of stuff too fast. Because then, although I don't do this, I've heard that people who can figure stuff out really fast and get bored fast are a liability because they get such success in such a hurry on most things they do that if they hit something like a relationship that takes a little more work, they just give up on it and throw it in the dumpster because they can just go find something else that's much faster. Which makes sense, but I don't think I do that. I think I'm able to go fast and slow more when I want to than when I have to. I think. I don't know. As Jimi Hendrix used to say, that's just me. Okay. Yeah. Why not? This canvas is only hanging by one nail. And so, you know, it's apt to do that. And I can get more crooked too, if I really wanted to. I should see what I can do with my nose. See, that's looking kind of good. Yeah, you bet. It looks kind of like a professional painter where they make the fur kind of, the brush kind of follow the lines of the fur. It's a technique I learned in Europe in kindergarten. You know, there's the white keys. They gotta stand out in front of that shirt, so we're painting them white for now. They may very well change later. Look at that. I mean, if I really was tired, I could just say, it's done. And the professionals amongst you would see that and know that. And the rest of you will just have to keep being your old self and bore people at parties and shit. I'm liking it. There was something else I was going to do that needed more white. I would say these keys need to be more white, even though they may not end up being white. For right now, they're what we're going to call the white keys. Hey, that brings up a kind of semi-interesting story about Keyboard Cat. When I made that song that Keyboard Cat is so well known for, I'm not a musician, by the way. When I went to make that song, I needed to make a song really fast because it was my turn to get the video camera and have my friends help me make a video. And so I needed to, the keyboard was a thing that would, you could store a tune on it. It was the first computer kind of stuff there was. It was called an Ensoniq, Ensoniq Mirage. And so I needed to come up with a song right away. And someone had told me that if you stay on just the black keys and you even have half a brain, you can qualify to make a pretty good song, especially if it's short. And so I just rolled the digi and I hit start, and I just stayed on the black keys, and there it was. There was that song. Then I pushed end and then repeat, play, and it sounded pretty darn good. And it even had some meter to it. The drum track was from one of those organs, like a color note organ that your great aunt had in her dining room, that had two keyboards and all kinds of buttons going up and down the top and the bottom, and a thing that you run the bass pedals. I have one, but I don't want to move the camera, and then I got to put it back here. But and then a volume pedal, and that's what I use for just the soundtrack, because it had what they called a drumulator, which meant drum, which was 60s for drum machine, drumulator. Last night we ate at a French restaurant, and my friend ordered Le Burger, which turned out to be French for the burger, and it was pretty good. Let me stand back. We are supposed to be doing a painting. Yeah. Sure. I think we're going to go in with some dark now, just to give it, it's time for contrast. And two colors I really love are dioxazine purple and phthalocyanine blue. Can't get enough of those. And so when I use one or the other of them, I usually mix in at least a dab of the other. And it just makes it way more interesting. Even a drop of black once in a while is pretty good in there. And we're gonna do that now. There's the black, there's the blue. Did I squirt the purple? Alizarin crimson. For the blue. Mars black. Oh, sheesh. Well, maybe we should just go with it and say that something in nature's trying to tell us to just use the mix we got. Let's let a little random in there. I mean, after all, it is 2024. Okay, so now it's definitely brush, tighter tipped, closed lipped. There's the purple. It was under the teal. Oh, yes. You really all need to see the palette, because the palette is kind of where there's a lot of action, and it never gets in the show. Here is one of my many palettes. In fact, it's the one I'm using today, and it's an old tray that you could serve food on, like to people who are watching TV, or hors d'oeuvres. But the paint's on there thick. It's a mile thick, and it weighs a lot. And that's where see that yellow on there and that orange? Those are what I've been using. And then the blue and the purple and the black are right there. So look, there's what they look like on the painting. God, that's pretty expressionistic. Okay, so now to pick a brush that's not too big and not too small. And by the way, this is about 1/5 of my brushes. And there are so many. Some of them date back to the times of Egypt, which, since Egypt is still there today, the time of Egypt could be an hour ago. So that takes care of that. Sorry your cat died in '08. It's a bummer. Pets die faster than people, and they sort of give you a chance to rehearse loss and grief. Okay, so where's this head brush that I was gonna use, a middle-sized brush? Okay, I want you to understand, you know, how it, even I wish you could smell it, because there's the smell of paint and all of that. Here we go. Pretty old school brush in the middle of a new school creation. So here's some purple, some blue. How'd that white get in there? No, we want really dark, none of that diluted crap. Just wholesome goodness, straight, no chase. Okay, so now I'm gonna put in some darks. And I know that there's one right there. And I know there's little ones there and there. And I'm gonna get a finer brush to do the eyeballs, because there is some detail in there. I guess if I'm into maintaining detail, it would be on the eyes. You see? All right. There's that. That works good. See? I learned that in art school in Argentina when I was in grade school. Yeah, I sure enough did. Look at it, right? Like that. And then something down here. See, I'm cutting a fine swath. It's making a big difference. Boy, this is starting to look professional. I better do something about that. See, watch. See, watch. I accidentally made a blue dot up there. I don't think I'm gonna want it either. This comes down around here, kind of like this. And then it's dark below it. See, I can be pretty academic. Hope it doesn't make people stop watching. Look at that, right? It even looks good on this little chintzy monitor on the thingy. Here's the brush I'm using, by the way, and I'm holding this one. It's the one that made the extra dot. Okay, so this needs to be yeah, and then a little bit of these. Some lines like those, and then a little bit of the old phthalo-cyanide blue to save the day. Oh no, I made some more. Oh gosh. I think I'm gonna try and wash those off of there while they're still wet. That'll create a whole new approach. It's called put the paint on, wash the paint off. And I can sort of dig that. Well, that one isn't coming off. That one kind of is. See, if this was oil paint, I'd probably be on drugs. No, I use oil paint. I have a lot of oil paints, and I like them. I particularly like the smell. But it dries so slow that, sure, you could move it around, but man, it's a mess. Because it don't go away for nobody. Well, that's looking kind of light and I don't know. It looks like something in a history thing, like about Egypt or something. So when I'm painting, you can see me. Okay, I don't know these things. All right, where's the picture? Okay, now we're gonna put this blue, this weird shape out here, which was just random when I shot this thing. By the way, I shot this in front of, if you look at what's behind Fatso, I shot it in front of a Vox Super Beetle amp, the upright one that tilts and everything. Was a beauty, it worked great, and I sold it. It was dumb, I should have kept that. There was something else I said I sold in this production that I should have kept, but I can't remember. If you can't remember stuff, then you don't worry about, there's no buyer's remorse or any of that. So I'm gonna put some blue behind this guy, this girl, like that. And I did that wrong, but it's fine. And then some right there to kind of cut into that spray painted contour or outline of reality. Right? Huh? See, when you're trying to figure out how to do his nose and crap, if you just jump over to this thing over here that probably doesn't mean shit to a tree, it can be a good thing. And you can do that in life too. If you're in the middle of something and it just isn't going, just try something else for a minute. Come back to it. I'm no, well, I don't want to say copywritten things, but I'm not one of those either. Yeah, it was a little weird being a painter, you know, at heart and even in the studio for years and struggling with that because I was in graphic design too to earn a living. But I still set up a painting station with, you know, all this junk, and I set that up so people would think I painted, but I didn't for years. I did graphics, and then I started painting more, and then getting into a band, and then all of a sudden, Keyboard Cat just happens, just out of nowhere. And so the world, which I guess shouldn't matter so much to me because this studio is my world, the world thinks that Charlie Schmidt is the Keyboard Cat guy, and I am, but it goes beyond that. And so now I guess I'm trying to hook up. I haven't stopped painting. I paint every day. I'm just trying to hook up with that again more. It doesn't mean less energy on the cat. The cat's great. The cat is like the center of our universe, okay? I mean, you can't stop a Keyboard Cat now, could you? Okay, so there's some things that are looking pretty good. We should probably get that blue in some other places on this canvas. Like there, look at here, and here, and here. 3 arcs. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And some up here a little bit. I'm liking this. We're gonna be done on schedule. Everything's fine. We'll be having lunch on time. Everything's cool. See? And then a little bit like, I don't want to use blue in the flesh of the cat. For darks there, I'll use something else, like some dark orange or I don't even know what, but not this. I mean, maybe later on I'll change my mind. So this is kind of, ooh. So that's the black, the black, the black. Well, I fooled myself. I started painting these keys wrong. Let's just try and make it into a good accident. Maybe we'll just outline it like that. Yeah. And say paint too, in time. Time is money. And then this is, as well as that weirdo blue. It's another one of those famous black keys again. It's okay. Hey, we're looking good. Music would be nice, but you know, we don't have any. Okay. Looky, looky. Yes, there are people still watching. Great. See that? This may end up being pretty good. His face is going to need a little bit of work, but I think I know somebody who can pull this off. Purple, black, blue. Not too much black though, or it'll just look black. If it gets too black, move over on the palette, put some blue in that sucker. This feels like I'm on a TV show. Just for a minute, I felt like that. That's why I didn't talk, because I couldn't even think. God. I might go to lunch today. I used to work at a sawmill, and all the like lower class sawmill people, such as myself, worked on the floor of this big place, and there was a big turntable made out of very noisy metal, huge turntable as big as this room. And then over on one side of it, on the edge, there was two guys with saws, and they were cutting boards, and then they would drop onto that turntable, and it would go around, and the mutants such as myself would take those boards off and sort them by their size, and then stack them onto pallets, and then band them and move the pallet over. And that was life for 8 hours. And the guys up on the saws were old guys, and they were called sawyers, which means the guy who saws in some language. And they hated us because we were all just college, either women or college kids who in the fall were going to go back to school and get rich and famous and laid and everything else. And these old sawyers really did not like us. But when it came time for break, they would tell us it's break time. And they would go like, they would turn the saw off, and it would do, and we'd all think, well, either something's wrong or it's break time. And then we'd look up at the sawyers, and they'd go like this. Break. This is a symbol for break. And nobody's doing that for me now, but here it is, 10:30. Lunch is until noon, and I definitely can get something good. I think this will be good. Somebody will want this. I mean, even besides me. Okay. I think I'm going to get a sip of coffee now. Yeah. Not bad, huh? The painting? Here, just because I figure I'm more than halfway through even, I'm going to give you a chance to see some of it up close. There's what this thing looks like up close. And it's not bad. That's some good stuff right in there. And again, there's a quick look at the studio. Here's a painting I did using fluorescent paints of my hot rod, which is a 39 Chevy with a big block, 454, and it's got a tunnel ram, dual 4 Hollies and a tunnel ram. Is that getting? Yeah. Dual 4 Hollies and a tunnel ram. It goes like a bat out of hell, and it looks really cool. It's kind of a rat rod. There's something of Tiny Tim. I hope my framing is worth a darn. Anyway, there's the whole place. And back to where, get back. Ooh, I better not sing that. Three measures of that could get us disqualified on some junk. Okay. If I start singing, I'll only sing songs that I wrote, which there aren't any, so there will not be much singing. Let's back up a little bit. See, is this my side? Yeah. Okay, so now it's gonna start getting technical. I don't think I didn't get my sip. Coffee keeps you going, you know. And it's legal. Okay. So now that cat is gonna need a little more orange. And I think we'll mix a little fluorescent orange, because there's some left over that I squeezed out and can't put it back. Yeah, I think I'll mix that with a little white. Yeah, that looks like a creamsicle, which is what we used to get when I was a kid. They also had, it was orange and vanilla, kind of like an ice cream bar, which there may not even be any of those anymore. And then they had a little cup that had the same thing in it, orange, half of the ice cream, and the little lid, and white on the other side, and the little lid you peeled off, and a little flat wooden spoon in a white envelope that they tear off of a string of these things. Came with it, and those were called Dixie cups. So try and remember that for the quiz, which will be on quizlinefresnoblah.com in your file folder. See, there's none of this color on the cat's arm over here, but I need something. Same thing up here. How do I distinguish the cat from the keys behind him? Huh. With some Dixie cup. Figure it out, dude. And up here, sure. Back here, indeed. And then we'll do that some more. Up close, it looks really good. I don't know from far away. Yeah, I think it'll probably work. You gotta wonder, how does fluorescent paint work on a video camera? Or what about glow in the dark? I bought some glow in the dark paint, but I haven't tried it yet. Okay, so really? All this, what? Up there. And down here. Yes. It's starting to get kind of rich, is what's happening. With all this layering of all these kinds of paint that don't chemically respond very well really to each other. I'm actually digging it. Okay, orange and white, you better believe it. So that means down here. Yeah. And over here. And a little over here. Some of this. Some hairs coming out of the ear. It's very important in cat portraiture. It's where it's at. That and getting the tear just right in the cat's eye is the cat's pajamas. So this is cat hair here too. That's why I couldn't figure it out. Look at that. Get some more white. I almost dropped a big lump of white gesso into my coffee cup. That's really, yeah. Okay, sure. I guess. Yeah. Better get a little more orange, because this is getting technical now. See that? Good. Yeah. And then, geez, I forgot what I was even doing. I'm making this video, so I shut up. I should keep talking. You can smell the paint through the screen. I like that. Yeah, that was one of the things that got me when I visited the art building in college. When I was a chemistry major, I accidentally visited the art building, and I was pretty pissed off because no one had told me that there even was one. So I went in, and there was a whole bunch of things in that experience that really are worth telling. I think they'll be in this documentary that's coming up about this. And some of the things I remember was that it smelled good. It smelled like oil paint, turpentine, linseed oil, hippies. And the sinks, even though they were new and they were big, expensive stainless steel sinks and countertops, they were just trashed with paint because that's what happens. And the floor was too, and the furniture, the easels, the stools, the tabourets. I liked that a lot. Here's what my floor looks like now. I don't know if you can tell. There, you're gonna get close up with my studio floor. There it is. When I lose something on the floor, like I dropped a nail or a thumbtack, I can't find it then. See, I just kicked a brush that I didn't know was on the damn floor. And that's cool because I was looking for that. So, is this about right? Let's back up just a little bit so that, yeah. We're gonna be friends. We're gonna be friends. Okay, so, yeah, that's looking good. So we need to get some, some darker orange, maybe even a little fluorescent pink. Can you see that? That's our color. We're gonna put a little bit in the boundaries of the cat's fur to accentuate certain things. Just like we use the dark blue on the shirt to accentuate shadows and so forth. So, for sure, these darker things go up here. And this one. And these ones. Yeah, it's working for me. And now some of this over. Sure. Oh, yeah. Huh? That's a little bit of okay right there. That's like an ice cream sundae keyboard cat kind of thing. You want to get a little spoon, like one of them flat wooden spoons, and take a bite of this thing. Yeah. So let's put a little of this down here. And a little of this right there, a little of this. Right there, some of this right there, a little of that right there, a little of that right there. Oh yeah. Coming together, Daddy-O. Check it out. Yeah. I'm starting to like this painting. Which means then a lot of times I don't want to sell them. See, we're trying to tie things together now. We lose a little pink up there. We'll use a little down here. It's kind of academic and kind of what they teach in art school. I like to paint good and big. See? Yeah. Well, we're getting close, I will say that. Yeah, this is almost like getting there. Let's, maybe we should just think for a minute. No, no, don't want to do that. I think a little bit of this ice cream orange, not the fluorescent, but the ice cream. At this point, you don't want to think too much. Well, you don't want to think too much ever. But sometimes thinking comes in handy, like when you're driving. So, you know, we need more of that there, and we definitely need something up here to define this little chin that the little guy's got going. Oh, maybe we need some whiskers. There, that looks pro. Don't do it too much. A little bit of this darkness here. We're zeroing in on this thing. I mean, for sure. Hmm? Yeah. I like that the felt tip is showing through, and you don't know if I was trying to hide it or not. I don't even know. So under that, there should be, there, we need more of this orange doody. Right in. Yep. Not bad. Look at that. This paint won't stick to the spray paint, so it beads up in a weird way. Hope it stays there when it dries. We're going to give it a chance to. You better believe it. I don't know, I think we're kind of like getting there or something. Let's make those catch lights on his eyes pure white-o. Right? I think it's getting awful close. There's just some naked canvas pieces in here that kind of Normally I like that, but I don't know, today it's just kind of bothering me. It bothers me, boy. That's better. And a little bit of more, just whitey, whitey, whitey. Up here on Mr. Whiskers that are flying out. A couple here. Definitely some here. This ends up having a very professional illusion. It's the illusion kind of quality, actually. And you see it in many veneers and other such products. Now, we need some of this to be fur-like. After all, this is a cat. And he does lick his fur. Okay. Huh? Not altogether too awfully bad. Not too bad. Yeah. I guess I just shut up for a while there. Maybe I should. Yeah, I'm okay. I should just say, am I okay? I'm gonna back way up in the room, way back. I think I might put a little bit of something in these white areas. A lot of times I'm against that, but I'm starting to change a little bit about that. So I guess I would do that with either a sponge or spray paint. I shouldn't use a color that we haven't used in here at all, I don't think. That would be against somebody's rules. There's always that. Here's a can of pink that has never even been opened. It's hardcore. It's tag and paint. And that can't be bad. Pink. Let's see what pink looks like. Yeah. I think so. Gonna put a little blue and black here where I spray painted. Spray paint and acrylic are not made in the same chemistry lab, so they don't get along, which is, like I said before, a pretty good thing, because they do unpredictable things, not unlike other things in your life. Okay. That's a little distracting, I think. This pink line out here is going to have to become a shape or something. Maybe. Fluorescent. Those lights stink up the house. It's a lot of spray paint indoors. But sometimes you just gotta be yourself. I know my feet are covered. Oh God, I'm wearing bare feet and they are covered with spray paint overspray. As probably is half of my studio now. This is not a good thing to do. But here we are, just doing it. What do? Just keep going with spray paint and hope for the best? You guys are witnesses to this. It's an experiment to me. Well, yeah. Well, it's better. What if I did a little bit of spray paint right in his face? I just feel like it. Yeah. I'm digging it. I gotta be me. Here I am doing it again. I gotta get my feet in the bathtub and wash them or this is never gonna come off. It's like I'm wearing moccasins made out of spray paint. Keyboard cat. Just another one here in paradise. Hope y'all had some fun. I know I did. I'm going to wash my feet, get some fresh air, and air the studio out a little bit. And then just get on with it. Take her cool.